don't think we're in Kansas anymore, Toto. I don't even think you're Toto. Hello. Welcome to another Goodwill dress transformation. As you can see, I am Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. Compliments of SHEIN. Fast fashion has taken over the world, and it does not have a good point of view from time to time. So I can see why this showed up at Goodwill. But I think I have a vision for her, and I think we can transform her into something that is actually chic for summer. So follow me, and let's go over the rainbow and back again and find our way through this beautiful monstrosity. So despite being from SHEIN, it is actually well put together. This has been serged together. I want to actually separate the top from the skirt very accurately to get this apart without tearing it apart because it is stitched together. It was cut and stitched at the same time, so it's going to take a little while to go around this thing. So I gave it the old college try and tried to release the stitches, but it really was stitched very tightly. I don't want to lose too much fabric, but I think I'm just going to have to cut this. I don't think I'm going to actually, I think it's going to just take too much time in order to unravel all of this. So I think I'm just going to cut all of this and hope for the best. So I'm going to take up my ironing board and do that. All right, so I went ahead and went through the ironing board. So I did not nick any of the dress. I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of fabric left over for that top because it is going to hug my chest pretty close. And so I wanted to be really careful with that. And here I am trying it on for the first time. I like it. All right, I have something to work with here. I took all the stitches away from the skirt. So now I'm going in and putting a gathering stitch in there. So it's a very, very long stitch that's going to wrap all the way around. I should probably have bunched it on one side and then the other, but I did go all the way around and I did 2 long stitches. And now here I am patiently trying to pull these threads. And again, you have to be very patient. If you pull one and it breaks, you're going to have to go in and release it before you add the new ones back in. And so I'm just very precisely gathering this. I got it gathered real tight and then I loosened it as I went. I went ahead and found some binding tape that I had. It's actually more of a lace binding tape. I probably should have used more of a solid binding tape. This lace was a little bit weak and so I had to really work hard at stitching around it, but it did lay nice and flat, so maybe it was the right choice. I just happened to have this laying around, and so that's what I used. And I pinned it all up so I could stitch it up and keep those stitches nice and gathered. I went first through with all the pins still in, and then I started taking the pins out on the second go around. I'm just going around making sure I've caught all of that lace. And I tried it on and yay, it fits and there's plenty of space left over, which is good because I'm going to need it. And I'm still wearing the skirt as I work. You might do the same. I'm taking out the stitches in the shoulder because I want to release the shoulders from the strap because the straps actually are really nice. They folded over on the inside as well as the outside. So I was able to go ahead and release that. And I'm doing the other side. And then I went ahead and put some gathering stitches into the top as well. So I'm tightening up the top before I put it on and try it on one more time to see what I see. She's getting there. I think it's pretty darn sexy. Okay, here's what I have to finish. This is very long and I want to actually tuck this in and have this stay put somehow. So I need to figure that part out. I need to put some elastic in here so this stays nice and cozy. And then I'm going to take some out of this. I have enough extra fabric back here so I can put a band onto it. So I hate to give it all away right away because it's going to be quite the transformation, but I do really love it. I think it's pretty sexy, so we'll keep on going. All right, now I'm working on the top. As I said before, that strap in the top actually folded over on the inside as well. It was stitched up really nice, so I was able to just release that shoulder. And now I'm going in and finessing this so that I can do a top stitch onto the strap and it'll be perfectly sealed on both sides. And I'm going to use some elastic I just happen to have lying around in my bin there. And that's what I'm going to use on the inside there. I measured around my body and then I marked it with a Sharpie on one side and a pencil on the other. I don't know. I did a couple different marks, but I wanted to make sure I left it long enough in case I had to go back in. I didn't want to cut it too short. So it is a little bit long in there. And that's why I put the marks in there. And I'm just gathering it up nice so that it's all even. And then I'll be ready to add some binding tape to the shoulders. I did binding tape first because it already had some of the stitches held in there with the gathering on the shoulders. And then I went back in with elastic in that as well. All right, so now I'm going in and just stitching up everything that I pinned up, my shoulders, my straps, the elastic in the bottom. Just got to go through and just go around this thing and stitch up every piece that is pinned up. Okay, it's time for the skirt. I know that I need to make a band at the top, so I decided I was going to cut a piece of the skirt off. I went ahead and cut on both sides of the seam line so that I could just fold it over for my waistband. I had plenty of skirt left over, thank goodness. I am going in and stitching up the skirt up until the point where I'm going to put the zipper in. Trying it on, it fits, yay. All right, let's get in on that waistband, shall we? All right, after I pin this up. And I folded it over and I decided I would take out that last bit of binding tape on that one side. It is the right width somehow around my body, which is really exciting. And now I'm going in and just trying to figure out how I'm going to put this around my body. So I'm ironing it out at first, just taking it all in. And now I'm pinning it to the skirt just to get an idea of what I think I'm going to do with this. I know that there's a lot of fullness in that as well at the top that I need to still pull out, but I just wanted to see, does it even fit? What does it even look like? What am I looking at here? So I went ahead and pinned it all up. I tried it on and I realized that I still wanted to pull some fullness out of that waistband. So I went ahead and made an extra seam in the back. I just took a little V stitch in the back so that it would actually just sit nicely on my body. And now I'm ironing out that V. I'm going to cut it as well so that it actually sits on that seam line really nice. And now I'm going in and pinning it back up one last time, trying to figure out which way to pin it. This is a really crucial step. You don't want to keep on stitching these things over and over, so might as well do a really good job pinning it up. So I very much took my time and put a lot of pins and looked at the back and the front and said, what does this look like? Is it lining up properly? So yeah, I put a lot of pins in there. All right, and it's time to stitch this up. Once again, I'm taking my time here. I put a lot of pins in. I'm really stitching it up on a main stitch line that I want to follow. So I'm taking my time and there it goes. I'm ironing this out now. Ease in all the fullness. Trying to decide what to do on the inside. All right, I put it on, it fit, and now it's time to put a zipper in there. After I get some of these strings out of the way, grab the right color zipper. I didn't know if I had white, turned out I did. Here I go. Putting my zipper in. I always leave it a little long in the top just to make it easier on myself when I'm making this. You can always stitch over the zipper and cut it off at the top. That's part of my advice. All right, I tried it on one more time. It fits. And here we go. We're in the final stretch.
Okay, it's all set. Let's try it on. I had to give you one more before I show you the after.
Oh, hello there. Fancy meeting you here. Isn't this just wonderful? I'm so happy with the way this turned out. It really didn't take a whole lot of effort. I just released the shoulders, cut the top from the bottom. I had an extra little bit of fabric that I turned into the waistband. And now I'm ready to go to Cabo. Who wants to go? I really am so happy with the way this turned out. I think it's my new favorite outfit. And I don't feel like it reminds me of Dorothy any longer. I don't need the rainbow. I've already got the pot of gold. So I'll see you next time. Thank you.